Tariffs. Love them or hate them, well, there's no doubt that they are happening. And depending on the way the whole situation plays out, they could be terrific or terrible. And of course, the biggest tariffs are being placed on, well, China. And where does Disney get a lot of its goods from? Well, China. Regardless of what side you may fall on this whole tariff situation, right now it seems to be making CEO of the Walt Disney Company, Bob Iger, terrified. We here at Follow the Bradleys Fun know that our audience, that's you all, are terrific. Yes, we like you because you are the greatest audience on YouTube. And all we ask is that you like this video down below, and let's get started. Before we start in today on this particular story, I want to let you know this is not about any personal politics of the situation. It involves politics, but that's because of what is going on in the world. And I am simply here to tell you about it. Okay, so don't shoot the messenger depending on what side you may come in on this. That's up to you completely. We don't choose that for you here. We just give you the story and then you give your thoughts on it. But this is an interesting one because it does have to do with the new tariffs placed by the Trump administration on China and how they might affect the Walt Disney Company. So let me put this on the screen. This is outofthatparkplace.com. Again, I will remind you, if you're not bookmarked, please do bookmark to thatparkplace.com for all the news that should be fun. Yes, indeed. And this one is an important one. This story written by the man, the myth, the legend himself, WDW PRO. Disney World's potential response to Epic Universe could be utterly crippled by Chinese tariff escalations, devastating the company. Oh, well, that doesn't sound like a good thing at all. Let's see what WDW PRO has to say about. Oh, look at Bob Iger. Hey, do you notice this, though? His little microphone on his lapel, even with his strange expression, does kind of make a kind of an awkward hidden Mickey. That's interesting. Universal's new Epic Universe theme park is indeed incredible. It eclipses by far anything Disney has to offer. But thoughts that Disney could begin building a response for the next 5 years may all be dashed away by the new Chinese tariffs. For Bob Iger, it could be a devastating blow to his legacy. The recent escalation in tariffs between the United States and China poses significant challenges for companies like the Walt Disney Company, particularly concerning the expansion and maintenance of their domestic theme parks. The construction or even expansion of new theme park assets domestically would likely lean heavily on Chinese imports, which could be double the cost for years to come. Setting aside Disney's complacent manner in which they allowed their biggest competitor to outclass them in Orlando significantly without any immediate response, the Magic Kingdom now faces a possible reality in which they can't afford to even respond late. In contrast, Universal Studios' timely opening of its Epic Universe theme park has fortuitously shielded it from these financial strains. We had a very interesting discussion on this very subject the other day on the WDW PRO show, which he has so graciously allowed me to share with you here.
Disney not only is going to have a harder time competing now with Epic Universe, and that's the big story. Epic Universe is basically built, so they don't have to worry about the tariffs. Disney does if they want to expand to compete with Epic Universe. Everybody see how that works? Disney is way behind. They're way behind the 8 ball. Now they would have to pay for the tariffs if they want to do the construction stuff, if the tariffs go on and on. Meanwhile, Epic Universe will eat their lunch for years to come. And Bob Iger is looking for a way to excuse this, but it's worse. And what I'm talking about, guys, Ron, we'll go to you first on this one. Ron, we're hearing that it's going to be really hard for Disney to source parts for animatronics, even to keep them running today. We're not talking about new animatronics. We're talking about the stuff that's breaking. Apparently Disney, and this is rumor and speculation, but it comes from a heck of a source. Ron, we're hearing that Disney doesn't even have the parts to keep the animatronics they have running. They're having a difficult time sourcing new parts. And those parts, even if they can source them, could get hit by a massive set of tariffs. Ron, the parks are in trouble right now, and they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. Go ahead, Ron.
No, this makes an absolute ton of sense to me, because having been to the parks recently, having seen the animatronics, for example, the new ones at Tiana's Bayou Adventure, it's pretty clear that they get their parts from Temu, and that comes from China.
So, Temu, and Bob.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, it seems like they're already trying to cut as many corners as possible. When you have what is supposed to be a brand new animatronic in Louis, the alligator trumpet player in Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and guests see Louis with his neck literally ripped open and also not working, and Tiana doesn't work, and the things that they've built just in the last few years are up and down. The molding and the lights at Epcot are literally popping up and out of the ground. They're causing people to trip. It's a very, I mean, safety is clearly not number one anymore. There's a very good chance that the Disney company maybe wants this to happen so they can use it as an excuse to stop their building, because I'm sure that they would love to have an excuse to say, hey, let's stop, because everything we've done so far is pretty bad anyway.
Hold it, Ron. Don't go any further. That's a heck of a point, and I had not thought about that. We got to pause there. Ron, you may be onto something big. Jonas, what if Bob Iger is doing this so that they can pivot on the rivers of America and have an excuse so that they can get a slight delay so they can change plans? Because Epic Universe is about to eat their lunch, and Disney's response is a dirt track. They got to know now. It's a loser strategy. And it's a big loser strategy.
Well, they're looking for any excuse right now. First of all, the first level of excuses for Disney is someone to blame for their problems other than themselves.
Right, because Iger was going to go out with a tarnished legacy.
Yes. In the conversation about Nelson Peltz, he talked about how they have room for 7 lands there at Disney. And unfortunately, we now have seen what those 7 lands are, and people are not impressed. I get it. Like Villains Land, that could be cool, but they also are doing it at the expense of Magic Kingdom and keeping Magic Kingdom in the sanctity of that park. They're going to uglify the park it could be 6 years before we see the walls come down at Magic Kingdom, and then we get.
Let me read this real quick, Jonas. Let me. I don't want to interrupt, but real quick, so people know what you're talking about. CNN. This is from Universal Apex. CNN is predicting Disney to respond to Epic Universe with the 5th gate in Orlando. Says, with so much buzz around Universal's new park, industry experts are watching for Disney's response. Disney and Universal are in the greatest boxing match they've ever been in at this point in time, and it's a slugfest, Spiegel said. Disney is on the ropes right now. Epic Universe has blown people away so much. I believe that this is Spiegel saying, I believe that within 12 to 16 months, Disney will announce its 5th gate theme park because it's necessary.
So yes, a very interesting discussion on Pro. And now back to the story out of thatparkplace.com. In this post by New York Post out of X, Disney boss Bob Iger warns about the impact of Trump tariffs in surprise stop at ABC News staff meeting. Disney's domestic theme parks, notably Walt Disney World and Disneyland, rely heavily on imported materials and advanced animatronics, many of which are manufactured in China. The U.S. administration's recent tariff increased to 104% on Chinese goods effective April 9th, 2025. That was yesterday, as of my reporting of this, has substantially raised the cost of these imports. In retaliation, China imposed an 84% tariff on U.S. goods going from here to China starting April 10th, 2025, further intensifying the trade conflict. And for those of you that don't realize that there's really not a lot that goes out from the U.S. to China, so it's not as big of a deal to us. Disney CEO Bob Iger has expressed concerns about the potential impact of these tariffs on the company's $60 billion expansion plans for its theme parks and cruise lines. Iger indicated that escalating costs might necessitate scaling back or delaying these projects. He also warned that increased expenses could lead to higher prices for consumers, affecting everything from admission fees to merchandise and food within the parks. The construction industry is already feeling the pressure of rising material costs due to these tariffs. Companies building new factories in the U.S. are bracing for higher expenses, with some projects being delayed or canceled as a result. This trend suggests that Disney's planned expansions could face similar hurdles, potentially leading to project postponements or increased debt To finance the higher costs, even maintaining current tech could be a stretch for Disney, as our own sources claim Disney is struggling to source components for broken animatronics already in the domestic parks. One workaround for this is that Disney could purchase the parts for their Chinese parks via Chinese companies, then ship them to domestic Disney parks as an intercompany sale. But would the U.S. government allow such a thing? It might ease burdens on existing supply needs if the government allows it, but a new park expansion certainly couldn't use such a method for construction acquisitions. In contrast, Universal Studios is poised to benefit from the timing of its new theme park, Epic Universe, which is scheduled to open on May 22nd, 2025. The construction of Epic Universe was largely completed before the implementation of the new tariffs, allowing Universal to avoid the brunt of increased material and equipment costs. This strategic advantage enables Universal to offer competitive pricing and maintain robust profit margins, positioning it favorably in the market. The broader theme park industry is likely to experience ripple effects from the U.S.-China trade war. Rising costs for construction materials and imported goods could lead to increased ticket prices, reduced consumer spending, and potential declines in attendance. Theme park operators may need to reassess their supply chains, seek alternative suppliers, or consider domestic manufacturing options, all of which could involve additional costs and logistical challenges. However, tariffs can lead to much better financials for domestic theme parks that aren't spending heavily on imported CapEx projects. The reason is that it becomes far easier financial burden for families to spend money domestically in a tariff environment. This is why Universal Studios could not have timed this better. I mean, I don't know if that's serendipitous, if it's fortuitous, whatever, but or just plain good luck on Universal's part, but bam, I mean, they are in the right spot timing wise. Moreover, the uncertainty surrounding international trade policies may deter future investments in large scale projects as companies become more cautious about committing substantial resources amid volatile economic conditions. This environment underscores the importance of strategic planning and adaptability for companies operating in industries heavily reliant on global supply chains. The escalating tariffs between the U.S. and China present significant challenges for the Walt Disney Company, potentially hindering its expansion plans and increasing operational costs. Iger has already suggested cruise ships may not be completed as planned. Now, analysts will begin to wonder if Disney World expansions are also on the chopping block. Meanwhile, Epic will be chopping away at Disney's market share relentlessly. Yes, indeed, they will. Sound off in the comments below. What are your thoughts about the tariffs on China specifically, how they could impact Disney, how they could impact Universal? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know before you go out the door. And thank you so much for coming in, for watching today, for being here with us. We hope we've entertained and informed you. If we have, please do leave a like before you head out the door. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and do click that notifications bell. When you click it, you stick it to the YouTube algorithm, and you get notified of all of our uploads here at Follow the Bradley's Fun. Remember, you can tune in to the Daily Dish for stories like this every day, live at 9:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. And until next time, we will see you real soon. Bye, everybody. Ciao.